episode of Baseball and the Bible. I am Riker Dotson here with my father, Ryan Dotson, and we're here with a long-awaited special guest, Parker Byrd. Yes.
Parker Byrd. Thank you guys for having me on, man. I'm pumped about this. Thank you for what you guys are doing with spreading the word and spreading the game of baseball. There's the two best things that you can talk about. So thank you guys.
Well, we do appreciate you taking the time to do this. I know you have a busy schedule. Baseball season is still going on for you guys, and
that's right.
But just thank you to you, your agent / dad for making this happen. And we're excited to have you on here. So
awesome.
We are going to talk baseball. We are going to talk a little Bible. We're going to talk what's happening in your life, what has happened, and what is all the exciting things coming up in the future. So if it's all right, before we kind of get into all of that, typically we go around the league a little bit and talk MLB, and so we're going to do that real quick and just give some quick updates on what happened this week in Major League Baseball. So before we get into that, who's your favorite team?
Yeah, my favorite team is the Braves. So being from North Carolina, there isn't, obviously an MLB team in North Carolina yet. So I got all my sports teams from my dad, and essentially my grandpa, who passed it to my dad, who passed it to me. So I'm a Commanders fan in football, a huge Braves fan in baseball. Hockey is relevant in North Carolina now, so now a Canes fan. But that's what they grew up watching, listening to on the radio. Before the Panthers existed, it was the Redskins at the time, and then you can either pick the Braves or the Yankees, and they obviously picked the Braves. And so I just grew up watching the Braves. My favorite player is Brian McCann, so that's why I wear number 16. It's old Brian McCann, who obviously had a great career, and he was a Brave for a while, and he went on to be a Yankee for a little bit. Then he was with the Astros with all the scandal and stuff. But he did a lot of rehab assignments in Myrtle Beach with the Myrtle Beach Pelicans, and Myrtle Beach is only an hour and a half from where I'm from, so we'd shoot up to Myrtle to watch some Pelican games, and Brian was always there, and he was always really good to me. He, was giving me hats, jerseys, all this and stuff. So when I was a kid, I thought that me and Brian, when I was like probably 3 years old, I thought me and Brian were best friends. I called him my first name. I would dress up head to toe in all of his gear, and so I was a huge Brian McCann fan. But that led to me loving the Braves, and still a proud Braves fan.
Did you play catcher at all, or you just liked Brian McCann?
I didn't, but whenever I was a kid, so the way, I was so obsessed with the game. I still am, but even at the age of 2-3 years old, probably all the way up till I was 5, every time I would go to a field to practice, which was every day, every time my dad got off of work, I would, dress up and head to toe in a certain player. Whatever player I dressed up as, I was them for the day. So I would play their position. I would hit like them, whatever side they were on. So, I grew up hitting, right-handed and left-handed just because Brian McCann was my favorite player, is a left-handed hitter. So, I hit lefty on those days. And so, it was just my love for the game. But, I would play the national anthem before I ran out there. So I was obsessed with it, dude. I'm telling you, I was obsessed with baseball from a young age. And that's, obviously led to where I am now. But I didn't play much catcher. I played a little bit in rec ball growing up. But that was essentially because, nobody else really could catch. And so I could actually catch the ball. So I would play a little bit of catcher, but not a whole lot. And I was a middle infielder from a very young age. So.
Awesome. So, did you it was full uniform? You went pants.
Head to toe, brother. Head to toe. I was rocking the Braves fit. I would have the Braves hat. I love Derek Jeter as well, Mike Trout, all those guys. So I was, Angels one day if I was Trout playing center, and then Jeter one day playing short, and so I loved it. Bryce Harper. any guy that was flashy and it was pretty cool at the time, I had their jersey, and the fat heads to go along with it. I was a big Josh Hamilton fan as well,
Oh, wow.
just because he's a local here in North Carolina, and so it was really cool. I used to have a fat head of him on my wall. Him, Brian McCann, and Derek Jeter were my three guys that I had on my wall, and and I just used to love his the wrist tape that Josh Hamilton wore with the flame tattoos coming out of the wrist tape. I used to think it was the coolest thing ever, but so yeah, those were my guys.
Well, we're here in Texas, so that Hamilton is,
Yeah.
is a hero here. He's actually getting ready to go into the Rangers Hall of Fame, I think, later this
Yeah,
summer.
he should.
Yeah.
He should. Yeah, I was kind of heartbroken whenever he went to the Angels. I was a little bit older, obviously, then, but I was like, man, you should have been a Ranger for life. But
Well, I felt the same way when Albert Pujols went to the Angels too.
yeah,
So
yeah, I know, right?
that was crushing.
That is a heartbreaker as well.
Yeah.
But he came.
Are you guys? Are you what? Who's your team?
We're the Cardinals. Well,
You're
I have
Cardinals
the hat
fans.
on.
so Riker is kind of like you. He was indoctrinated into it from birth.
Yeah.
So he's forced to be a Cardinals. He's allowed to like the Rangers a little bit, but Cardinals are number
Yeah.
one.
It's very strict.
Yeah, I was. We were obviously before this we get into Alec Burleson, but Burley's an ECU grad, and him and Coach Godwin are really, really close. I mean, they're like father and son. It's crazy because Burley trains at ECU all off season. So I mean, he practiced with us and all this, and Coach G was on the phone with him the other day, and obviously he just got National League Player of the Week or Hitter of the Week, and but before that he was in an 0 for 15 slump, and he was not hitting great at all, and his bat to ball skills are elite, man. It's insane, and I think Coach G showed us a video of it, but the hit that got him out of the 0 for 15 slump was like they were in a left-handed shift and third baseman was over a little bit, and it was just like a little squib to the third baseman that took him to the backhand side, and Burley just hustled out the box, and he was like full go. Ended up being safe. It broke up the no-hitter against the Pirates, I believe.
Yep.
And then, or the perfect game that they had going in like the seventh inning.
Bunch of relievers too. It was all relievers.
And so he broke that up, but that also got him out of the slump. And then he became National League Player of the Week. And, obviously the Cardinals didn't have the highest expectations before the season, but they're winning. And so Coach G was like, I mean, you guys aren't the most talented. Like y'all aren't supposed to be good. Like, what are y'all doing? And he's like, man, we're taking the emotions out of it. We're, just playing the game the way it should. We're hustling on and off the field. Like, we really take pride in defense, pitching, like whatever can win us some ball games, because we understand that we shouldn't be winning is basically what he said. But it was like, we are winning, and it's just because of mentality thing. So I thought it was really cool, and I took a lot from that just because, that's a big leaguer who's hustling out the box. And I mean, Burley, I know him on a personal level, so it's pretty cool to see, him doing stuff like that and representing ECU too. So it's really cool.
That is cool. He seems like just an awesome, down-to-earth kind of dude.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
And we were watching that game because that did break up the perfect game. And then the very next at bat, he had another one that went straight down the line.
Yeah.
And he had back-to-back little squiver bunts, basically.
Yeah, didn't one just
one went, it was way foul, and then it came somehow. It had
Back
the crazy
in.
spin, and it came back.
That's
in.
so funny. And he got the National League Player of the Week, and then Coach Godwin called him 2 days ago. I think it was Monday. Man, he's like, well, how'd you do last night? He's like, well, I went 0 for 3 with 3 punch-outs, but we won, so it doesn't matter. He's like, baseball's the most humbling game that you can ever even play. So
yeah, that was Monday of this week. And then they got rained out. Then they played today. He was over 3 in his first 3 at bats, kind of struggling again, and then he had a big hit RBI there at the end. So we lost. Cards lost today, but he got a nice RBI there at the end to kind of
that's awesome.
Break up.
He was a
little 0 for there in that Milwaukee series, but he was you brought him up, and so we'll just highlight that he was the National League Player of the Week. It's one of those things when we saw that come across, we're like, we knew you would be on here, but we can't not talk about Burleson being the National League Player.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And it tied in so perfectly with him being an ECU grad.
So Burley was the player of the week. Killed it. He had an awesome series against coming out of that slump. Then the Cards played the Pirates, and that's where he was awesome. Let me read the stats real quick. He was 11 for 27 with 3 doubles, 2 homers, 8 runs scored, and 11 RBIs.
That's like 420 something, I believe.
Yep.
Something crazy.
And then also to be mentioned, Byron Buxton was the American League Player of the Week, so we'll give him a shout out too. Yeah, so he was 10 for 29 with a double, 5 homers, 2 steals, 6 runs scored, and 7 knocked in. So, I mean, that's a guy, Buxton, that was highly touted coming out.
Yeah, dude, holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, the talent on that guy is like insane. He just needs to stay healthy, and he will.
That's the thing. If he can stay healthy.
And it sucks that he's on the Twins, but
he doesn't get the pub. But
nah. So since you guys are Cardinals fans, who's your least favorite team? Is it the Brewers or
Cubs?
Yeah, that's
Cubs.
Answer. That was my only fear, is that you were going to say Cubs when we asked you for your favorite team.
Nah, I like Wrigley. I've been a couple times. I remember one of my favorite MLB games I went to was at Wrigley. It was a July 4th game, and that's when they had the squad with Javier Baez, Chris Bryant, all those guys. Yeah. And I like Chris Bryant a lot. I don't know why, but so I had like one of those shirt jersey things with Chris Bryant on it. But I just remember it was a July 4th game, day game obviously because it's in Chicago, and it was so hot, man. It was blazing hot. But Javier Baez stole home, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Cause, that was in his prime where he was like flashy, doing like all the cool tags and stuff, and like the little point tag that he did in the World Baseball Classic. I practiced that and probably more than any other tag you can possibly.
Who threw the ball to him was that guy right there.
Yeah, I know. He did. One of the best catchers ever. I mean,
but Javier was great. He's great at tagging.
Yeah, so it was awesome.
Well, Wrigley's we went, obviously we've gone to Cardinals Cubs games there. It's a fun atmosphere
I bet.
To go as a Cardinals.
Me and my dad's our dream is to go to all ballparks.
Yeah.
And I think we are pretty close to it. I think we've probably been to 2/3 of the ballparks, but the part that we really need to hit is like the central part of like the United States, like all the NL Central, AL Central, those ballparks. We really haven't been to many of them. So we got to get to St. Louis. We have to get to the Royals, Tigers, Guardians, like all those in those weird cities. We did a tour in Milwaukee, but we never went to a game. We've been to pretty much all the East Coast except the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I don't know why we haven't been there because that ballpark is beautiful.
PNC.
It looks like so. PNC looks pretty cool, but
we talked about that last week. We're going to try to go. We're going in September. We're going to go to PNC and catch.
That's awesome. Yeah. Hopefully it's not too cold by then up there.
Yeah, hopefully. It is. It looks like a beautiful park. That one we want to hit up. We've done the same thing. Since Riker's been born, me and my wife were doing it, and we were knocking them out pretty good, and then kids came along and that slowed everything down a little bit. But
100%.
Now that Riker's older, we're trying to pick it back up. So we're gonna hit PNC, and then we're gonna try to hit Truist Park and see the Braves.
Awesome. Let's go. Yeah, my grandpa, like I said earlier, is a huge Braves fan, and I'm moving out to San Diego here in August. But before then, me and him are going to catch a series up in Truist because he wants to so bad, and so do I. So we're going to take a little weekend trip up there and hopefully catch a good series. I'm not sure when, what series, but we'll look at it later.
Cool. Well, that's our MLB talk. You said you're a Braves fan. Obviously, they're doing good. I think they have the best record in the league right now, right? Or right around there.
Yeah. So. Just lost their first series today against the Mariners. Then they have the Dodgers this week. Good time to play the Dodgers because they're not rolling like they typically are. So hopefully they stay cold so the Braves have a little bit easier of an opponent. But, it'll be good to see Freddie Freeman play. I mean, Freddie's always a Brave in my eyes. So.
Yeah.
That's true.
On that note, I do want to say the Cardinals did beat the Dodgers.
Yeah, we won 2 out of 3 against them recently. So they are a little down right now. But
Sure.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
You mentioned Burley, ECU guy. We talked a little bit about this before we came on, but who else in the league? Again, when we came to watch you play about a month ago or so, and I saw a guy. I didn't realize Trey Savage was an ECU grad until I saw his jersey out there. But who else is in the league right now?
Yeah, so we have Trey. Played with Trey 2 years ago. He was on the 2024 team. Obviously, he got drafted like 20th overall that year. Should have been higher, but we had a situation. It was weird, man. So, look, Trey is an unbelievable human being, like top class guy. But so we had this situation where he was getting needled. It was the last weekend series of the regular season. He was getting like dry needled in his back because the way Trey pitches, like he's very over the top. So like his side and shoulder gets sore. So he was getting needled right by his rib cage. Well, he got a punctured lung from the needle, and so he was out the entire conference tournament. And we were pretty much locked to host a regional that year. So we hosted a regional, and we had Wake Forest in our regional, and we had lost game 1, and so did Wake Forest, and we were the 1 and 2 seeds. And so we were in the losers bracket, but that matchup was highly anticipated because it was Trey Savage and Chase Burns who were going at it, but everybody thought we would be in the winners bracket. Well, they lose to VCU and we lose to Evansville, and so they pitch against each other in the losers bracket game or the elimination game, and Trey pitches his tail off, and it's like 10 days after having a punctured rib or a punctured lung. And the kid is a freaking grinder, and so his draft slot kind of slid a little bit because of that, and scouts were worried about it, but obviously he's proved that he's a freaking stud. And so we have Trey, we have Connor Norby, who's with the Marlins, obviously Burley that we just talked about with the Cards. We have my guy Gavin Williams, who's with the Guardians. We have Sean Armstrong and Jeff Hoffman, who are both with the Blue Jays with Trey. We have, I feel like I'm missing somebody else. Zach Agnos, who's with the Rockies. And then Carson Wisenhunt, who is with the Giants, and he's a left-handed pitcher. He played here and I think graduated in 21, or 22. But yeah, so we have a lot of guys. We have a lot of guys in the minors that are killing it. Carter Cunningham, who's with the Blue Jays, and I think he just won Player of the Month or something like that. Dixon Williams, who was actually on the 2 with me whenever I got into my accident. He's with the Braves now. He's killing it, man. He's hitting freaking pumps. And so we have Jacob Jenkins Coward, who's with the Marlins. The list goes on because they've been probably 2 or 3 guys getting drafted every year out of ECU. So it's been cool to watch that and obviously see guys make it to the bigs. And I think Coach G had to go to 3 debuts last year, and so that was really cool to see. So it was awesome. And the World Series, Coach Trey pitched in the World Series. So
yeah. He pitched well too.
Yeah, he shoved against the Dodgers, so they always take that.
Yeah,
that was Trey's welcome to the MLB moment too, which was awesome.
Yeah. So. Did he get Game 7 or no? Did he get?
I think he was in relief that game.
Okay,
because I think he came in for 2 innings, 2 or 3 innings, pitched well. He might have let out 1 run, but it wasn't a huge run or anything. I think it was. They were up a little bit, and then obviously they lost it. But
so how is the season going? And we came up to watch a game in San Antonio about a month ago. You guys won. It was a nice year. Whoever started that game pitched really, really well.
Season's been, dude, it's flown by. It is, insanely fast. But it's had its ups and downs. We're second in conference right now. We're behind UTSA, who has a heck of a squad. We've been banged up, man. We've had a lot of injuries, but on the cool side of that, it's allowed other guys to have opportunities. I think 2 of our weekend guys are out for the year. our main relievers out for the year. We have a couple of position player guys that are out for the year. So, I mean, probably the most banged up we've been since I've been here. But, I mean, we've had guys step up into, roles that they weren't supposed to be in. And they've been succeeding. So we're second in conference right now, which is huge. Where I think we're, I don't really try to look into all the predictions and stuff just because, you can get pretty emotional with that. But I believe that we're still supposed to get an at-large bid. That's per our coaches at least. So we're still set to get an at-large bid just because our RPI is pretty high. We just dropped a freaking series to Memphis. We shouldn't have dropped at all. But that's how baseball is.
Yeah.
You get one bad hot, one bad call, and it's a bloop in the blast. That's what they say. So, but I mean, overall, man, it's been good. I mean, we're in a good position. We're top 2 in conference, which would set us up great for a conference tournament because they have a new format this year, and the first 2 seeds get like a bye until the semifinals. So we'll have like 4 days of rest, which is going to be huge for our pitching staff, especially since all the injuries. So we need to finish up these next 2 weekends strong. We have Rice this weekend at home, and then we go to FAU and end the season there. And we'll just stay in Florida and Clearwater for the conference tournament. But yeah, this weekend's going to be a big one. Rice is pretty good this year, and they're finally turning that program around and kind of going back to how they used to be. But they're going to be challenging, but I think we'll be okay.
So the conference tournament is like 2 weeks, basically?
Yeah, 2 weeks. So we have 2 more weekend series. We have this weekend, next weekend, and then we'll stay in Florida for that.
Okay. And then from conference goes, that's where you get into the regionals.
The regionals and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see where we go, and hopefully we get rolling here and stay hot. And because you know how baseball is, man. It's all about who's hot, really.
Yep.
It doesn't really. I mean, last year we had a great run, and I mean our whole season was terrible. When I say terrible, I mean it's still good in the sense of record-wise. And if you looked at our record, you would be like, that's not a terrible year, but the standard's so high here at ECU,
Sure.
and that's a great thing. I mean, I wouldn't want it any other way. And they have such an expectation of winning because they have for 10 years now. And so whenever you have a 10-game above 500 record, these fans sometimes don't love it, but in reality, you're still in a great place. You're still a winning ball club, and but yeah. So last year we got hot at the right time. Just ran into a team that was a little bit more talented and a little bit hotter in Coastal, and they ended up obviously going to national championship
Right.
and almost winning that. So
Yeah.
it was a good season at our end of season, and so hopefully we get hot again.
We'll be watching and pulling for you guys. Hopefully.
Yeah,
Hopefully
I appreciate that.
You mentioned again. We'll get into your testimony, your story. But when I read through it, obviously your family, but the other name that kept jumping out to me was Coach Godwin, or Coach G, as you call him. So how long has he been at ECU?
Yeah, he's been there for 11 years now.
Okay.
So I mean, he's a legend around these parts now, and I mean he wins. I mean you can't argue that at all. He wins, and I think he has like 450 wins in his career here, and so I mean it's been a really good era for him. I don't know. I'm not calling his retirement anytime soon. I don't know. He just got married. He's like 45, 46 years old. He just got married. So I mean the guy used to be. I mean, he still is obsessed with baseball, but that used to be his life. And talk about testimony, man. In 2022, he had a lot of personal stuff going on, along with my accident, along with one of his, Zach Agnos, guy I just mentioned. His dad passed away of COVID that year, too. So, like, I mean, a lot of stuff was hitting him pretty hard. And, he kind of turned his life to Jesus. And I've been able to see that transformation in the past 4 years now, and it's been really cool to see because he's a lot more vulnerable, a lot more open to conversations. He's a lot more he's married now, so that changes him a lot. I mean he's about he has a family now with a wife, and I don't know if he's ever going to have kids or not, but I told him the time's now, brother. You got to go ahead and get that done if you want to. I mean, you're getting up there in age, and
Yeah.
so I mean, he's a great human being. I mean, he's awesome. He's a great coach. I mean, one of the guys that he's one of the reasons I committed here from a young age was him and the entire coaching staff. They win, they produce players. Obviously, they recruit the talent, and they have the same values that I value in my life. So it was cool to commit at an early age in ninth grade here, because this was my dream school. It was the place where I've always wanted to go. Both my parents are ECU grads, and I have family members that are also ECU grads. But so I've always grew up being a Pirate fan and knowing the Coach Godwin era and starting how how winning the culture is here, and it's nothing but winning. And like I said earlier, if you're 10 games above 500, the fans aren't happy. So that's something I love. So that's why it's easy trigger for me to pull.
Yeah, that's a good standard to have. But he just seems like, kind of like you mentioned with with your story and the other guys, it just seemed like he's he's not just about winning, I guess is what it like. Seems like he's almost like a father figure to the guys there on the team.
100%. Yeah, he's a great human.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's I did want to get into. Did you have? Because we wanted to get into your youth baseball journey, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Into that, because you mentioned committing in ninth grade, which seems crazy. Riker's going into sixth grade, so it's like you got 3 years out here to get.
I'll try. I'll try.
Well, the landscape has changed a little bit now.
Yeah.
I think you have to be a junior now to get recruited, which I like personally. I like that because the 13, 14, 15-year-olds' brains aren't nearly developed. And, I knew where I wanted to go, so it was easy for me to pull that trigger and commit. But I saw a lot of people throughout, my just experience who would commit to a school if they were really good and then not develop the way the school thought they were. And the school pulls a scholarship, or vice versa. They commit to a school like East Carolina, who, is a quote-unquote mid-major, and then they get a much better than what, they were at the time. They decommit and go somewhere bigger, get drafted or whatnot. But, I mean, I like the landscape now much better than what it was. So you have a little bit more time than I had, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Ninth grade does seem
early.
It seems early, but that speaks to, your skill level. And so, again, we know, doing a little research, you were highly ranked in Perfect Game world. But so Perfect Game was around, but for me, when I was Rikers age, baseball just wasn't what it is now. From it's a year-round youth, and so even Perfect Game, and so obviously that was around when you were, coming up. But what do you think about the whole select ball, travel ball world?
Yeah. I have a little bit mixed opinion on it. I think it's really good because it gets kids into the game, playing a lot more. But you also have the downside of that's the only sport they play.
Yeah.
Because like you said, whenever you were a kid, you were a seasonal athlete. You played baseball when baseball was in season, football and basketball. That's how my dad's generation was, and I think there's a lot of value in that. I think that kids shouldn't just play one sport. I mean, Riker, man, if you can play all the sports you can, play them, brother, because, baseball will hopefully be here for a long time in your life, and you'll miss the time whenever you were playing football with your buddies, because I know I do. And one of the biggest regrets I think I've ever had in my life is not playing football throughout my high school career. So I played football growing up. My dad's a pediatrician, so he didn't let me play, tackle football when I was a young kid. And then I had a coach in 7th grade who was the athletic director at my middle school, and his name was James McLean, and he was also the head football coach. And Coach McLean and my dad were like really good friends. And so Coach McLean calls me into his office one day, and I mean that wasn't out of the ordinary. He always wanted to talk, and he's like, "Parker, you should play football, man." And I'm like, "Nah, my dad won't let me." And he's like, well, what if we call him right now and he says yes? I was like, well, if you call him and he says yes, I'll think about it, but I doubt he will say yes. So Coach McClain calls him. My dad's like, yeah, if he wants to play, he can play. And so I was like, well, now I have to make a decision. So I was like, yeah, I'll play. So in seventh grade, I wasn't the most athletic kid. I was a little bit chubbier. That pre-puberty phase wasn't the fastest. So they put me at nose guard, which is defense line. Loved it, dude. That was probably the best position for me. I'd rather tackle somebody than get tackled, right? But the next year, my eighth grade year, our quarterback had went on to be in high school because he was an eighth grader my seventh grade year. And so we didn't have a quarterback. And Coach McClain's like, and at this time, I kind of hit puberty a little bit. I was a little bit taller. I was really a lot more faster. I hit the Vertimax, which I don't know if you know what that is, but it's the training tool, very explosive stuff. I used to do that every single day. So I got a lot faster, a lot more athletic. And obviously I played baseball, so I had an arm. He's like, hey, what you think about playing quarterback? I was like, well, Coach, I'm a defensive lineman. Can't do that. Sorry. He's like, nah, we don't have a quarterback. Like, today at practice, I want you to throw the ball a little bit and see what you have. So I did. And I was pretty decent at it because they put me there. So I played quarterback my eighth grade year. And then ninth grade year, played JV football. Got called up varsity a little bit, but it was really just to be kind of backup quarterback. After my ninth grade year, I committed to play baseball, obviously, and I was my O-line my ninth grade year was terrible, to be honest with you. So I was getting banged up, had concussions left and right, playing through them. Probably not the smartest. And then I was like, man, I remember one of my mentors. His name was Duke Williams. He came up to me after one of the last JV football games. He was like, Parker, you sure you want to play football? And I was like, yeah, I love it. Like, I'm seeing stars at this point because I just got knocked out, basically. And I'm like, yeah, man, I love it. Like, this is awesome. And he's like, man, you're too good at baseball to get hurt in this sport, dude. Like, I'm worried about you because you don't have an offensive line here, like, at all. Like, you're a running quarterback that isn't supposed to be a running quarterback. You have an arm. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'll think about it. So I ended up just, playing baseball. So that was probably one of my biggest regrets is, not playing football throughout my high school career. But back to the travel ball. Sorry, I got a little off
No,
topic.
you're good. That's perfect.
Back to travel. I think, there's good in it. There's bad in it. I had a great experience with it. I played with the South Charlotte Panthers my whole entire middle school, high school career. And they were a great organization. You had guys like Alec Burleson that came out of there, Whit Merrifield. But it was an incredible, run with them. Got to set some pretty cool records, all-time hit records with the organization. They retired my number after my accident, so I will forever be, grateful for South Charlotte. But my favorite baseball was still high school baseball because I was playing with my best friends that I grew up in. I'm from a little town in North Carolina, and everybody knows everybody. And we had one high school, two middle schools. It was 4A, which is at the time the highest A you can have in North Carolina. And we had a relatively big high school, but it was just the only high school in town. So all my buddies were there, and nobody really moves out of Laurinburg. It's one of those towns you kind of get sucked into, and not by choice either. It's just the people don't leave for some reason. And so I got to play with my best friends that I grew up playing with, and I'll remember those moments probably longer than any other moments playing baseball because I was having the most fun playing with my best friends, and after the games, hanging out with them, going to cookout, just hang out, and so stuff like that is just something I'll always remember.
And you were highly ranked, right? Like top ranked, perfect game.
Yeah, so I think with the ranking stuff, I was for a while I was the number one shortstop in North Carolina. I think by the time senior year was over, they had me at like number 2 or something like that. And then like PBR was just getting started a little bit, so I don't think I ever went to like a PBR camp for them to rank me. So I'm not quite sure what all that is, but I used to use the ranking stuff as like honestly a motivator. I had this whiteboard in my workout room, in my weight room back home, and I had a whiteboard of my ranking. but it wasn't for like me to brag about it. It was like, hey, there's this many people in front of you, like you're not the best. So like that's what like would motivate me. And I mean, now here at ECU, we always talk about like not reading into that stuff, but for me, it was good to read into it because it fueled me. It wasn't like I was getting complacent by any means. It was like, okay, well, obviously they don't think I'm the best, but I still believe I'm the best player, and it just was something that kept me going. And those hard workouts, you can look at that whiteboard and be like, that's the reason why I'm doing this. So, I would write my why out there. Obviously my family, and to be the best version of myself every day.
Well, doing a little research, I did read that you were I read about the whiteboard and that you were highly goal oriented, right? So
yeah, always, yeah. You gotta write out your goals, man, because I'm a big believer in, if you say it and you believe it fully, it will happen. Obviously my goals have changed, but I have on my phone and it stays up here. It's the first notification always, but it says 2028 Paralympic gold medalist, because that's what I believe I'm gonna be. Even if it doesn't happen, that's the goal. And after 2028, I'm gonna put 2032 Paralympic gold medalist. I mean, I'm very very big on being goal oriented and having that vision for yourself, because if you say it and believe it, it will happen.
Did that come naturally to you as a kid, or is that something that was kind of?
I would say it came pretty natural. I would credit my parents to a little bit of it. My dad is really big about, one of the things that he always told me before any game, and he dropped me off at school, was be great, and he would always say that, be great, to the point where I don't know if you can see it, but I have it tattooed right there on me because it means so much to me. Is just be great, and that's his thing. So I would say it was something that probably came from my parents, but I just had a natural drive at it, and I love the process so much. I think that's something that is a difference maker. Is the results come, and those are the glorified moments that everybody sees, but what I love more is the workout sessions that nobody sees, or going out there and training when nobody's seeing it, out in the rain, out in the cold weather. I love that stuff, man. I mean, it's what fuels me, and it gets me pumped up just talking about it. But that's the reason why I do stuff, and I think that's the difference maker that allows you to be number one shortstop in North Carolina and all that other cool stuff. And it's all by the grace of God, man. It's all God given. It's not me.
Well, if it's all right with you, because I want to get into the Paralympics talk, and I want obviously just to share your testimony. So
I would love to.
If Riker will pray us out, and then for those that are watching, you'll have to tune in next week and hear the rest of it with Parker.
Let's go.
But Riker, if you'll pray us out, and then again tune in next week, and we'll follow up with Parker.
Right.
Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you just for another successful podcast, Lord. Thank you just for the opportunity to get here and film an episode with Parker, Lord. I thank you for that, and just thank you for us being able to be here today and us having the freedom to come here and pray to you, Lord. I just pray that anybody watching this that just thinks that they're not good enough would just watch this video and know that they are good enough, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Riker.
All right, we'll see you all in the next one.